we're told in the Chumash, you mustn't allow a witch to live, or you mustn't get involved in meddling with past and future. If you ever get the chance, you should leave things as they are, unless you are going to take it extremely seriously. Meddlers are not welcome, because meddlers can open up a vault of problems for themselves psychologically, and many things for other people too. But we can see how strong the beliefs were in the shtetl when you get people like Ansky, Sholem Ansky Rappaport, who wrote the Dybbuk, who was moving through Orthodox communities. He himself was born a Lubavitcher, became a Gera, until those communities rejected some of his ideas, and he became an anarchist. But he was working for Baron Hirsch, collecting stuff in the shtetl as the shtetl was breaking up. But he picked up all the stories, including the stories behind the Dybbuk, which is one of our most famous dramas. And there are many people who will turn around and say, it's only a story, it never happened like that. But I can take people, or I used to be able to take people, to where people believed this type of thing, the communities, the Hasidic communities that believed in backgrounds like this, who believed in the stories of entities and powers that in fact could bring evil into the world, could conjure up the Malach HaMovis, the angel of death, and bring it. Therefore, these traditions were very real. The darkest of all communities, in my opinion, that we ever had were perhaps the pre-immigrant and the immigrant generations of Romanians. Romania is still the darkest country in Europe where folk beliefs are concerned. It's still, I wouldn't call it backward, I would call it a country that is modernizing, but whose folk beliefs are so strong and inculcated into the people who have moved through it, that they're still there. Wherever they are in the world, they'll bring it out. Because I remember my grandfather talking about the community of Romanian Jews in London, who still observed, when he was a younger man, around about the time of the First World War, the fact that you took the body of a dead person out through the door of the bedroom, as you would normally do, but the bed you took out through the window, because the bed itself might still have an element of the soul of the departed, who may not want to depart, and therefore the bed, to a certain extent, may be haunted, and something might happen to those that go through the doorway. So the bed, it was decided, went through the window. Not breaking the window, they would just take the mattress through the window and the bed would be taken to pieces. Because the Romanian community was relatively small, this seems to have disappeared. But I think if families who came out of the Romanian tradition dig far enough backward, they'll find it's there. Not necessarily practiced today, but definitely practiced until the end of the 1920s. People have taken on traditions that are prevalent in this country. People have heard about not putting keys on the table, movements of salt around the table, iron, metal, not putting gloves on the table. These are mainly English traditions. Human thinking is of a such that sometimes people need this. They need to understand, and it's the easiest way of illustrating to themselves why they think, what they think, when they either hope or they fear, for themselves or for anybody else. Evil eye is always the left, the weaker side in most societies. You have phrases in many traditions that represent the fact that the strong right hand of God, the left hand is cack-handed because it's against what most societies do. For the majority of societies, it's the weaker hand. And therefore, what the person possessing the evil eye is normally somebody who is either you would describe perhaps psychologically affected in one form or another to a greater or lesser extent, but the type of person who actually has an inbuilt want as seen by other people. Not necessarily that they have this want, but their expression might be to come into a room and go, oh, that's a lovely vase, looking a brand new vase you bought, or a crystal vase. And if heaven forbid, 20 minutes later after they've left the room, that vase falls or somebody knocks it and it breaks, it's been overlooked. The old tradition was that it had been overlooked by that person who, because it wasn't theirs, had thought it wasn't good enough for you, so it was shattered. And so something evil had walked into that room and destroyed that thing, so you shouldn't get pleasure out of it. There are lots of crossover points, things that have occurred. You find that if you go to places like the Ukraine, weddings in the Ukraine are very similar to our weddings. They have traditions in places like Hungary and the Ukraine, where as part of the wedding ceremony, they break an earthenware pot. We will turn around and say, break the glass, because you've got to remember the temple at one stage or another. But from a folklore point of view, this is a basic symbol in all traditions that use it, and quite a few, that is really an object lesson in what marriage is all about and what the ritual is all about, and it is the most basic element of the ritual because it represents the breaking of the hymen and procreation, and what marriage is for is the futuring of the religion and the race, and to move through and forward to bring people into the world so that we can continue in that sense. There are some very odd elements of tradition if we take it from Eastern Europe and again from the Ukraine. There are a whole body of stories that illustrate some of the anachronisms in non-Jewish belief. The fact that Jews are magic, that no Jew will get hurt. We have stories from the Khmelnytsky massacres of 1649 of Cossacks raiding villages and capturing Jewish girls and riding into battle with the Jewish girl sitting on the front of their horse, almost like a suit of armour, because the Cossack has the belief, although he's just been through a village and decimated most of the community there, women, men, children, and so on and so forth, but he has the belief that no bullet will touch the Jewish girl. And it's always surprised in these stories when she is hit and she is killed.